You're watching the Mic Check, on every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Mic Check. Today, we're revisiting an old script. We've done a lot of changing and a lot of growing on the Mic Check, and also personally as actors. So I think it's going to be really, really cool and really telling to go back and take a look at a script that we've done a while back and see if we can't pull anything new and different out of it. So to start us off, Leonard, go for it.
Okay. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity. Richard, welcome back.
Gee, it's great to be back to be number 2. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver. Recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill, his sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or a new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity. Russ.
Thanks. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity. Dan.
When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity. Rob.
I think Rob was having some technical issues with the script.
I thought that was Robert.
Are you talking to Robert?
No, I was talking to Rob.
Oh. Yeah, I'm the one with the technical difficulties. I can't seem to get that script. If I click on this link, it's not clickable on my end for some strange reason. Maybe I'm technically challenged. Maybe that's what it is.
Just copy and paste it into a Google window, into a search window.
Will do. Thank you. Let's see if that works.
In the meantime,
ignore me for now and we'll get back. Yeah.
Rob Dinsmore. He's here. I don't know if he can hear. Are you there, Rob?
Muted? Is that the Rob Kale hands?
Yeah.
Hey, Rob, you there?
Well, I'll just change it to John then.
All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I could not get my mic working in the booth, so here we go. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity. Patrick.
When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity. Jimmy Doom, cold read. Got the script? Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Are you muted? You got
Now
two
he's
windows.
muted.
Now you're showing up muted. Still not hearing anything. There you go.
Okay.
Ooh, we got some mad feedback going on.
You've got two windows showing. You have your phone on too.
I don't have my phone on.
Oh.
Yeah, we got issues here.
Yeah, So yeah, you just muted up, but we've got some really, really bad feedback coming from your end.
Can't hear.
Yeah, you're muted now.
Yeah, Jimmy, just try closing and rejoining. In the meantime, Michael.
Okay. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity. Alrighty then. Up next is going to be Joe.
Okay. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity. Devin?
Hey, Robert, can you mute up? Thank you.
I got it. Yep, I did find it.
No, I mean, I was just asking if you can mute up. You got some background noise coming through.
Oh,
Sorry.
do I still have background? Oh, okay. Do I still have background noise?
I'm just asking you to while the other people are reading, go ahead and mute the mic.
Sorry, yes. Go. Okay, good.
Yeah. Devin, go for it.
Okay. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti. Russ.
I already went.
How can I remember who goes? Is Rob Dinsmore ready yet? No. Hasn't everyone gone then?
I have not yet.
No, Robert has not
Jimmy,
gone, and Jimmy has not gone.
Yeah, Robert. And you ready, Robert?
I am. Just say go and I'll
All right,
go.
next.
Okay.
Go.
When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can't measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, or convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti.
All right. So last up is Jimmy. Let's see. Did we get the audio issues sorted? Or Jimmy or Rob? That's it. Jimmy or Rob?
I think Jimmy's doing some technical troubleshooting still.
Okay. Rob, are you ready to go? You're not on mute, but we can't hear you. Okay.
Okay.
Still having issues?
Sounds like doomsday.
Anybody have any suggestions? He's working on a PC laptop.
Is his phone too close to the computer?
I don't know where the second window's coming from. My guess is that's what's causing it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
probably.
His phone is picking up what he's saying on the computer, and then the computer is picking up what he's saying on his phone, and it just goes back.
Yeah,
and forth.
if he's got some headphones he can plug in, that'll make all the difference.
Can
Dan
Dan cancel his connection?
Yeah, Dan, can you kick this window?
Well, it said when I looked at the remove, I could just put him in the waiting room.
Yeah.
When I clicked remove, it said he wouldn't be able to rejoin. So.
All right, he should be able to join now.
Yeah, let's see. Fingers crossed. Let's hope it works. In the meantime, though, Rob, are you good to go? Still coming through as unmuted, but no sound is coming out.
Technical issue Monday.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I had some updates on my computer that I had to stop, which is why I was a little bit late today. But anyway, so in the meantime, we can go ahead and start up a discussion. We'll keep them on the list so that they can go ahead and join us and read, and we'll work with them if they're not around or anything. But let's go ahead and move on while we still can. Let's talk about this script. First of all, what is it going to be used for? Is this audio only, or is this audio visual?
Oh, this is TV all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like TV.
Okay. And what gives you that indication? What tells you this is a TV script?
There's not a whole lot descriptive in here, and what's being said, I can see that they're going to be having something in the background, somebody driving, or even pictures of the G sedan, coupe, that kind of stuff as it goes through it. So there's not a lot of descriptive as far as painting a picture. It's just this is what we do. Let me see what it is.
Where it says Infiniti has a master driver recognized by the Ministry of Japan, I expect to see a person standing there from the Ministry of Japan.
Like in a doctor's suit or something with a degree behind him.
Yeah, white.
So now who's the person who's speaking? How would you describe this person?
Brand spokesman.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely somebody who's familiar with the product, close to it.
Yeah.
An engineer, maybe design engineer.
Yeah, that's a potential character.
We'll consider it.
I could also see this as somebody who just has a real passion for the Infiniti brand, just somebody who's a fan of Infiniti. Anybody else have any other ideas of who this character who's speaking could be? Like, who are you in this script?
How about a knowledgeable current employee talking to a potential hire? Like somebody from another car company who's got experience, and it's like, when machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. But you have a master driver because we have a master driver. Yeah. Oh, and let me show you the G sedan while I'm at it. Have you tried this? Do you see what a difference he makes?
So what about he's talking to someone who's trying to sell him you need to have this computer system that's going to fix all these problems. It'll be able to read it. Nah. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then what's the general tone of this script? Is this, how would you describe the sound of it?
I think the beginning he's presenting like a skeptical thing, when machines start driving machines, then we'll consider it a change. And then he gives you the why they're different from just being a machine driven company.
Well,
thing,
Yeah, you know what I get from this? I get during the first sentence he says, when machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. And then he's explaining why he doesn't need, or why they don't need to make a change, because of one, you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference it makes and all that stuff. So you don't need a machine to drive a machine. We've got it all.
It's got to be very warm and very human.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I don't know if a seasoned salesperson talking to a potential new hire is necessarily the best, because that can get kind of clinical.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's where we keep the sedans. Here's the here's the SUV section, stuff like that. It could come off as a little bit clinical. So I'm not sure that that's necessarily the right way to go, but I do like the idea of it being very human and very personal. Now, one of the things that could really tip you off to that is the title of the copy, because oftentimes they'll include that. So this one's Inspired Performance. That has what kind of a feel to it? What does that radiate to you when you think inspired performance? What kind of overall tone does that bring up in your mind?
Like proud, almost bragging in a way.
Okay, so there's definitely a lot of passion in there, right?
Passion, that's a good one, yeah.
Okay, so we got a lot of passion.
I can almost see this as a business to business video. Like
I could kind of see that, but I really think this is definitely more of a customer-facing video, specifically because of the way that it starts. It's way too informal.
I'm seeing this as an anthem read, pretty much.
An anthem read? That's a yeah, definitely. I completely agree with that. I think this is supposed to definitely be one of those really close into the mic, like Zone 1, 1.5 style of reads, where it's a little bit quieter. That's generally the way that car commercials work. The voiceover is actually more of a voice under, a little quieter, a little more reserved, but definitely a lot of passion in the read.
Especially on the higher end cars.
Yeah. And Infiniti has sort of tried to broach that market. I wouldn't necessarily say that it really is one of those higher end cars, but it has sort of like that little more luxury feel to it. You know, you got to look up the brand a little bit if you're unfamiliar with their cars, but it's definitely got that sort of upper middle feel to it. They're sort of broaching on that, or they're trying to broach in on that Mercedes territory.
Wants to be a Lexus.
Yeah, exactly. It wants to be a Lexus. But that's generally the feel that these are supposed to have, because another thing that really supports the whole passionate read is the fact that it uses human feedback, emotional feedback. You know, it says feedback twice. Let's try to stay off of the feedback, but the most important part is human and emotional. This is very visceral feedback that they're getting from these drivers and about these cars, or from this driver, should I say, about these cars. So I think you've got.
Mike,
sorry, go ahead.
About the computer thing, do you think they're just like off the cuff saying this, or is there something that's provoking them to start comparing computers to humans? You know what I'm saying? Or it's just like, hey, here's a subject. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I think it's just a way to sort of. I almost think that this is them making fun of other companies, because other companies like to post stats, and Infiniti is trying to separate themselves from that by being like, we actually have a human driver here giving us actual feedback.
That's good.
So
even if it's not true, it sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, whether or not that's true, right? The whole idea is, we don't just go with machines. We don't just put our cars on giant, on those giant roller wheels and test braking points and things like that. This is all about how you feel while driving.
Yeah, without that pre-life, it's kind of a reversed question. Like, as in, if he started out with we have a master driver because we trust humans, that's why we don't use machines. It's like you put the question second and the answer first.
So and the funny thing is if you add Infiniti to the beginning of that, Infiniti has a master driver because they don't trust machines. That's really the overall idea and through line of this whole thing. If you can focus on telling that story, you're probably going to hit this just right. That really comes off, to me at least, as the main overall idea, is that
we make cars because we don't trust machines.
We make cars because we don't trust machines. That's great.
I think it's the human is always in the feedback loop here, because they always want to have humans involved.
Absolutely. That's definitely part of that story, part of that core feel that we need to maintain when delivering this.
So
yeah, it's not Skynet. So let's see. It doesn't look like Jimmy's back in yet. Rob, do you want to give us a level, see if you're coming through? Okay, we're not hearing anything. If you are,
yeah, Jimmy's out.
Oh, he is.
Yeah,
oh, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry.
Xavier popped in.
We had Paul jump in.
Yeah, Xavier, Paul.
Oh.
We see that you unmuted, but we can't quite hear you. I guess today is just a day of technical difficulties.
Yeah,
wow.
All the updates that happened over the weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
The technical difficulty mic check.
Okay, one sec, please, he says.
Before we jump back in, can I mention a couple pet peevey things I heard?
Yeah, absolutely. What were some things you noticed?
There's I guess you'd need to know where this was airing, because I heard very different pronunciations and regionalisms on some things.
Richard.
Measure versus measure, extraordinary versus extraordinary, and I always prefer extraordinary because extraordinary sounds like you're really ordinary.
I like that. I might steal.
And also on
human
coupe, I have a
being.
British friend. He says coupe.
Yeah, coupe.
Should we stick with the American coupe?
I'd assume coupe on that. And then one emphasis problem on master driver is one, concept. It's not master driver or master driver. It's
Yeah, master driver. On top of that, I'd also like to point out that a lot of people missed the 25 in front of the G25 sedan, the G25 sedan. So we had sedan set, like emphasized twice in that list.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that
Speaking of
differentiates
list,
two sedans
speaking
is
of list, make it a
G25.
list. Like, don't do the dun 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 for the list, not just a flat read across the list, which happened a couple of times as well.
Yeah.
Hi, it's
That's
Xavier.
Just
there you go, Xavier.
Great. Was I up in the queue to read first?
Last.
No, you're up
actually.
in the
Everyone else
queue
is
last.
gone. But you can read now.
Oh, okay. Sure.
If you want to do a cold read, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I noticed. There's a lot happening with that in the voiceover business, isn't it? Okay. So, was there going to be a particular mood I was going for here, or is it just?
It's just
a cold read.
Just start off. It's just a cold read. You go for whatever your gut feels.
Okay, great. Xavier Paul. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. Okay, and my thing got cut off at the end. So the last sentence is gone. It just says, this is the, what is it?
Way of Infinity.
Okay. This is the way of Infinity. Thank you. Because I copied and pasted it out of the chat.
Oh, okay.
Let me just type that in there. All right.
All right.
Okay, so the general feel that we're going for with this particular read is going to be one of more passion and a little bit of reverence. I liked what Leonard said about it being more of an anthem read. Let's see, what else did we come up with? The narrator for this spot in particular is definitely somebody passionate about these vehicles, whether they're a salesperson or just somebody who's very, very close to the Infiniti brand. This is definitely somebody who feels some passion for what they're doing with these cars. And the rest of it was just more nuance, like master driver being one whole thing that, was trying not to emphasize either just master or driver or anything like that. Let's see, on the new G25 sedan, the G25 needs to be the indicating or separating emphasis to make sure that we don't have sedan on there twice, or we don't move into a too salesy of a performance or of a delivery. Was there anything else? Were there any other pet peeves, any weirdnesses, I suppose you could say, that anybody else heard through the reads?
I got one thing. And part of it, of course, is because this was cold reads for everybody. But when you have a word like extraordinary, make it sound extraordinary. When you have a word like exhilarating or inspired, make it sound exhilarating or inspired.
Okay, I would caution about going too far, because then you could really sound insincere at that point.
You don't want me to sound emotional?
Like, we don't want to go, for his extraordinary skill. That kind of broaches off to, but for his extraordinary skill, definitely give it a little bit of a bump, a little bit of an underline, but don't let it stick out too far. Otherwise, it does start broaching into that realm of insincere. Yeah. So, let's see. Anything else? Anybody else have any other input?
Let's do this.
That's the input. Let's get back into it.
Nice input.
So, Leonard, go ahead and take it away.
When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of infinity.
Okay, opening it up. What did everybody think?
Like the list. The list came off well.
Yeah. That was a good first take.
I thought the last list items sound kind of pushed or something, though. A little bit. And then the extraordinary, it did seem like you might have overdone it just a little bit, you know, for the voice under thing, like Mike was saying.
Okay.
I caught this a little bit. At least the thought passed through my head to mention for everyone the two lines, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse. They don't have a pulse isn't the answer to a question, and it just slightly came off, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse. The two are, it's not a question and answer. It just kind of struck me.
It's two statements, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not that they're unrelated. Computers can't feel because they don't have a pulse. That's not it. It's computers can't feel and they don't have a pulse.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I would see, at least personally, the images in my head with that is it at that point where it says, even when it starts, it's zooming in closer on like an Infiniti that's driving, and then it like zooms into the inside of the vehicle, and there's a person behind the wheel, you know, and it's almost like they're hooked up to the machines and not the actual machine itself. So they're like measuring the pulse rate and everything like that.
Are you saying you agree with that, Michael, or disagree with what he said?
I agree with splitting up the statements. It's computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse. You know, like those, because that's part of the human feedback thing is, you know, the exhilaration you feel when driving the vehicle. So yeah, I agree with that entirely.
I think just putting the word "and" in between it in your head, just like he did.
Yeah, the word that belongs there is and not because. That's the simplest way I can finally coalesce my thought.
Yep, that's awesome. Thank you.
All right, so put a little phantom and in there. Let's see how that changes it up. Anybody else have any other feedback for Leonard? No, cool. All right.
I did think of one more generic thing, which just struck me when he was reading was, you've got a master driver, Ministry of Japan, and the way of infinity. It's got a very Asian undertone to the entire thing. So I don't know how that figures into your read, but there's a lot of
I'm not going to read with a Japanese accent.
No, I would suggest that, but
well, please, because this is being recorded, right?
Yes. It just occurred to me that's whoever wrote the script probably had something in mind. Maybe it's in the imagery, and the text just follows the imagery.
As long as you don't suggest Godzilla, we're okay.
I would say it's almost poetic in that sense. It's almost got a poetic feel to it. But anyway, anybody else have anything? All right, Leonard, give it another go.
When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse. Which is why Infiniti has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of infinity.
Okay. What did everybody think of that performance?
To infinity and beyond. I had a nitpicky comment, and that was the first, let's see, when machines start driving machines, We'll consider a change. It almost sounded like a question there.
Yeah, I heard that one too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the they don't have a pulse came off as, because you went, they don't have a pulse. It came off as the answer to the question.
Okay.
And the only other thing is you jumped on Soul so hard that all I could think of was, does it have something to do with his shoes?
It has to do with his soul.
His soul job. His soul job. Not his soul job.
I heard job more than I heard soul. I don't know why.
Yeah, this is like the master driver thing. His sole job is to provide engineers. The only thing he does.
Okay.
Yeah, don't billboard it too much, but definitely give it a little bit of a rise there. You know, it's not like his sole job is to provide. His sole job is to provide engineers. You know, something kind of like that, I guess.
Okay, I got it.
I'm trying. Anybody else? All right,
Leonard. Extraordinary was hit a little bit hard again.
Okay, I'll dial it back a little.
I didn't hear your first read, Leonard. I apologize for having to get up and down, but just hearing that second read, it sounded like you were pressing just a little bit into your voice, and it didn't sound as natural as you normally sound when you read.
Okay.
Sorry, Leonard. We're really picking you apart today, it seems.
No, I enjoy it.
All right.
The perils of going first.
Uh-huh.
All right, then. Go ahead and give us another read.
When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse. Which is why Infiniti has a master driver recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti.
I thought that was the best read so far.
Yep, much better. Yep.
Agreed.
He got into it as he went, though. He started out kind of announcery or thinking about his voice, but then as he started getting into it, I heard Leonard come out.
Yep.
I think in the first line, the word to push is consider rather than change, because he's like, I'll think about it. Does that make sense? Instead of we'll consider a change, we'll consider a change.
Yep.
Okay. I kind of feel that's interpretation, but I could definitely go that way.
Consider a change.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit of interpretation, but I think he's telling the computer guy, "Look, I'm not interested. We got you."
Consider a change. Yeah, that sounds a little. That sounds a little.
I think it is more interpretation because in my head, either one of those could work.
Yeah.
You know, when machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change.
Yeah,
I think either way. Yeah, I think it all depends on the actor themselves. So,
well, it considers a verb, so that seems like it would be better.
Well, what does everybody think? Should he do it one more time, or do you think he's hit it?
I think he should graduate.
Yeah,
I'm fine either way.
That was a very good read.
Yeah, that was really solid. And I got to say, John, you're now in the right position to actually be able to show your face, and Janet's not even here.
Maybe she liked the other of you better anyway. Who knows?
She asks every time.
Oh.
Well, anyway,
script.
Richard, you're up. Go for it.
Okay. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse. Which is why Infiniti has a master driver recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of infinity.
I'll be honest, Richard, I liked your cold read better.
I didn't like this one either.
Uh-oh, hey, Dan Rule.
Yeah, I know.
Dan
one,
Rule.
One thing I noticed, Richard, that I tried to listen, but I was watching you too, and you had your hands up like this. And the first half of your script sounded like a question.
I'm trying to move them around. If I set them down, I can't talk.
I mean, you didn't feel as connected. You kind of rolled through. Computers can't feel, they don't have a pulse.
You know, what I think the problem, Richard, is that, and this is some criticism I get that I'm trying to work on, but you're not connecting the words together. Like you're just saying a word, saying a word, saying a word, saying a word, and it sounds like you're reading it almost.
Okay, so it's reedy. Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah, you know how you like connect one
Some of
word
the
to last
sentences
one?
seemed a little close together too, like human feedback and emotional feedback were piggybacking on each other.
It was a little
Or it could
too
be my
fast.
connection, but maybe.
Watch your head, Patrick.
Thanks. For some reason, my stool is failing me tonight.
Technical difficulties all around.
Yeah. Okay, I'll try to slow down, try to be more connected to the words, try to do it like my cold read, whatever that was. Okay.
I'm threatening a pattern break if it doesn't get any better.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Oh,
uh-oh. All right, so Richard,
no pressure at all, but
just
now thanks a lot. Gee, thanks, Russ.
Richard, just do it perfectly and you won't have to do a pattern break.
Do it better.
That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Just flawless. Go for it.
When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of infinity.
Okay, what does everybody think?
Definitely better. Definitely better.
Okay.
It did sound like computers can't feel was actually a question again.
I heard that. Thank you.
I heard computers can't feel, they don't have a computers can't feel, they don't have a pulse.
Yeah, one thought.
Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel.
I heard
they don't have a
Thunderdome
pulse.
with.
Yeah,
I heard
that's what it needed to be.
Thunderdome with Master Driver, like Master Blaster.
Why Infinity has a master driver. Okay,
Master
which is why
driver.
Infinity has a master driver. Is that better?
Master driver.
Master driver.
Yeah, put the same emphasis on both words.
Master driver.
Master driver.
Master driver.
Which is why Infinity has a master driver.
There you
Recognized?
go. Master driver.
Okay.
On both of your reads, you went up on the feel. You went, but computers can't feel. And I'm thinking it would be more effective to go, but computers can't feel.
Oh, Rob.
Rob is sharing his screen now.
Rob.
Don't know what
you're sharing your screen.
Stop participant sharing. There we go.
All of a sudden, where did my script go?
And screen. No.
And also on the human feedback, I'd push the human a little more and the feedback a little less. So provide engineers with human feedback as opposed to computer feedback.
Yeah, human feedback, emotional feedback. That's kind of we're equating the human element with emotions, and that's what makes Infinity different.
Yeah,
Okay.
the same kind of pattern: human feedback, emotional feedback, but just hit emotion a little harder.
Okay. Let's see. Carry the 1 divided by. I think I got it all.
All right, do it again, but better.
There's my favorite directions. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse. Which is why Infinity has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity.
Loved it.
Oh, did I get all the notes?
Well, let's see. What did everybody else think?
I think he nailed it. I loved it. Good delivery.
Definitely our best.
Yay, I love the directions, guys. Thanks so much. I had a friend helping me with an audition earlier today, and it's just having some feedback besides listening to yourself really makes a difference. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah, it does.
Despite how picky Joe was, I still like him.
Picky, master driver.
All righty then. Russ, you're up next.
Sometimes Joe's off the rails a little, but it's pretty good stuff.
And you gave some good stuff too. So yeah, I wasn't connecting with the words. You're right. I was being reedy. I was just reading them.
I hate that. All right. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse. Which is why Infinity has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity.
All right, let's open it up. What did everybody think?
Really
I like the softer tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, smooth.
I hadn't heard that from you. I like it.
Add a smile when you start the sentence "one drive." So just one drive through difference he makes. Smile through that with the same delivery, and then go back to inspirational.
Okay, so like a turning point.
Yeah, just one drive and he's the master driver.
Hey, Russ.
Yeah.
Did you mean to make computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel one solid thought?
No, I screwed up.
Well, I mean, it worked. I just didn't know if that was what you meant to do.
No, I was like confused there. I was trying to add the word and confusing myself, and so I didn't know what would work.
Well, it didn't sound too bad.
All right, I'll smile it up at the end or during those mention the brands or the models. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity.
So, Patrick, did he hit it?
He nailed it.
Yeah,
that was
a golf
inspired
clap.
performance, Russ.
Yeah, that was a really, really solid performance.
All right, thanks.
And I
Yeah,
have
that's
to
just
follow
all
that.
you need was that little smile to give it just that little bit of a lilt in there as these things are wonderful, and that worked perfect. Good directions, Patrick.
I get to follow that.
Yes, you do, Dan. Go for it.
Oh, goody. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. Ew, I didn't like that. Which is why Infinity has a master driver recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity.
Okay. What did everybody think of Dan's performance? Was it inspired?
Other
Pretty
than
nice.
breaking the Dan rule in the middle of it, I thought he did really well.
I think that he had a beautiful read up until he said, "Oh, I didn't like that," and then just kind of fell apart. Man, come on.
Extraordinary.
That was
Well, you fixed
just
that.
just power through, but you lost your connection when you did that.
Mm-hmm.
I felt the read overall was a little too dreamy. It's like he's this hippie type who's on some substance.
Infinity. I actually intended dreamy.
Okay, well, that came across.
Hey man, why don't you take some Infinity with me? It's great.
Have you ever heard your name and hippie in the same sentence?
But don't take it over 60, man.
I have. But that's back when I had long hair.
I wasn't stoned, I was dreamy.
I was dreamy, man. Just
I don't know.
dreamy.
I liked that performance all in all. And yeah, I do agree that the moment you started judging yourself was the moment you broke yourself out of it. Like it took you a little while to recover. You eventually got back there, but it took you a little while. This is why the Dan rule is so important, because you will throw the rest of your read off. So if you ever don't like something, just scrap the read and start all the way over again.
Yeah.
So go for it one more time.
When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide human engineers. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity.
All right. So with no more Dan rule violations, what do you guys feel about that performance?
Definitely more connected to the copy.
Just about. I was about to say that was a lot better.
He sounded way more connected to the copy. And I'm just coming in late, so I still caught that he sounded really connected to the copy.
Yeah, it sounded good.
I don't have a lot of other nitpicky.
I think that was
I'm not going to do it when machines start driving machines. We'll consider a change.
Nah, let's consider not doing that change.
Computers can't measure performance.
The computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse. Oh, okay.
There wasn't enough wind in your hair. Could it flow a little more? Your hair didn't sound long enough. And you should be wearing a fedora.
Oh, man. All right. Well, John, why don't you go ahead and give us a read?
Okay. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity.
I got nothing.
I just noticed
Zip.
something, actually, with that last read. Something that stuck out to me is the very, very first sentence. The reason why it says when machines start driving machines, it's because that's not the case. It's humans driving machines. So I think there could be a little bit of emphasis on that first machines. You see what I mean there? When machines start driving machines instead of humans, that's the subtext.
Mm-hmm. I'd watch your cadence. Your cadence softened up as your read continued, but when you started out, you had a very there was a musicality to it that matches like a Rod Serling read.
Mm.
When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Too much
Yeah.
musicality. So, but by the time you got to master driver, you'd softened, and the read was nice and smooth. But I think there was just a bit too much.
Okay.
I didn't feel inspired on inspired performance. The second one, This is the Way of Infinity, sounded great, but
That's because you had such a good read. Shut up.
seems like you just kind of went through that one. This is inspired performance, and to get to the other one and say it. So maybe a little pizzazz on both of them, just different kind.
Okay. Another one?
Sure.
Okay. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity.
Somebody's knocking at the door.
Yes.
Dave's not here.
Guys, can I come back?
Yeah.
Are we happy with John's reads? It seemed good.
Yeah, it was a solid read. All right, moving right along to you, Patrick. Wow us.
When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity.
Okay, opening it up. What did everybody think?
He didn't sound as relaxed as he normally sounds.
Yeah, it did sound a bit on the little bit more. There was a lot of vocal tension in there.
Yeah,
it seemed a little forced.
Maybe pick up the pace a bit too. The pacing seemed kind of word as opposed to flow.
Yep. And it was the whole cadence was word, stop, word, stop, kind of too. So that was something else I heard.
So you're wording too much.
Might fix too many words.
But that was all. It was all probably because the nerves or whatever it was.
After following John?
that seemed like the root of the problem, though. I think if you just relax a little more, I think that's all going to fix itself.
We could give you a pattern break if you think that'll help you, completely get out of that mindset.
I've never heard him do one.
Yeah. Shatner this thing up. Just do Shatner all over it.
As Shatner as you can get, just to the extreme. Turn it up to 11. Go for it.
When machines start driving machines, will consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. You got that, Spock? They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for its extraordinary skill. His sole job, and when I gave that line before, all I could think was their continuing mission. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback, Spock. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan. You'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity.
I really caught the Shatner on the back end of that. I mean, big time.
Yeah, that was really good.
The end of it just sounded like you gave up.
Doing TV.
This is the way of Infinity.
Lately, doing a lot of TV like I do, I get to see him a lot on the new So Clean commercials.
I'm sorry.
I never thought I'd see an 80-year-old Shatner on television, especially at the station I work at. But
and let's face it, he's two Shatners now.
It's like, hi, I'm William Shatner. It's like, yeah, we all know who you are. But yeah, I really caught the Shatner on the back end of that. But all right, take it away.
John, you did great, by the way. So we've moved on.
You did great, John. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity.
Okay. What did everybody think of that one?
Can you go back and do your first read so I can compare the two?
You missed a Shatner too, man.
Yeah, you missed a Shatner. He did a pretty good Shatner.
I think the pattern break helped you. You sounded much more relaxed. The words didn't sound like they were being forced. It was more you.
It had a much better flow to it. It really did.
Yeah, that was a very good read.
Your last read sounded more natural to me.
It's very natural read.
Did anyone catch the change I made in the last two lines?
Huh.
The first read, this is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity. So I landed on the this thing I'm talking about. And on the last read, I did.
Yeah, I actually caught it, and I was going to say something about it, but I thought.
What do you guys think? Difference?
I actually liked what you did on the last read, so
Okay.
I thought it flowed better. It made more sense. I didn't notice it being something that stood out that was out of the norm.
I could go either way.
Yeah.
But I like that I'd stay consistent with the two sentences since they're kind of connected.
Yeah.
Xavier, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I caught it. And this is an issue that I have a lot where, last two lines or something, and it's almost like jumping out of character, conversational throughout the whole part of it. And then it gets announcery on the taglines. And so, but it's completely adjusted and very believable on the second read.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
My one little nitpick is, and you can take this or leave it, on the human feedback. I'd almost make the feedback I almost completely drop it. So instead of human feedback, do human feedback.
His
I would agree with that.
Provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback.
So the more you downplayed the feedback, the better, the more human it sounds, and that's what you want to emphasize.
Sure. Okay. You want
it? All right. Why don't you give us one more read?
Oh boy. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti.
There you go. You put it all together, and that sounded great.
Yeah. Oh, man, yes.
Thanks, everybody.
You
got nothing for you.
You know, you get all the usage and all of that right there.
Oh, right. That's my turn now.
Happens.
Yeah, I did see the list when I came in. There it is.
All right. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti. I'm ready to accept my fate.
Okay. The human space feedback, emotional space feedback, I thought it was just a little
too much?
Strange. Yeah, it's just
okay.
Maybe you can pause on one, but not the other.
Yeah.
I think you hit human more than emotional, and I think it's got to be the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't fully walking, Don, but it came close with the pauses.
Yeah. And to Joe's comment on my second to last, my penultimate read, I think the last two lines have to mirror each other. They've got to have the same cadence and flow.
Okay.
I feel like you needed just a touch more presence, just overall.
Yeah, your voice has this natural kind of whispery quality, which usually comes across really well. But here, I mean, it felt almost tentative. And you should need to have more confidence in that, yeah, this is really a great thing.
Okay.
You think you could do it not as an anthemic, just in your regular low voice without trying to whisper in?
Yeah, I'll give that a go.
Because that might be.
Okay. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti.
Good, much better, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, better.
Yeah, you lost the tentative part. It was this time I believe that you believed it.
Yep.
My one little nitpick, Michael, is like the first half of the script. Every sentence had the exact same ending tone. It's like you hit the exact same note on every period, and it sounded a little repetitive, but then you got out of it in the second half. Other than that, it was very, very solid.
Did anybody else hear that? Hear me end the same way at the beginning?
I heard, I was going to ask you to redo Computers Can't Feel, They Don't Have a Pulse, with a little more space in there, because I really think that They Don't Have a Pulse is just a little extra trying to convince Computers Can't Feel.
Yeah. All right. So you think I should try it again? Vary up the opening a bit more?
Yeah, go ahead and do it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is.
When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti. Did you do the same thing?
PayPal okay?
That was awesome.
PayPal is just fine, my friend.
PayPal okay?
I love the way you hit pulse. You did it better than anybody else has done it that I've heard so far.
Thanks for coming, everybody. We have our agent now. You can all
go. We'll cut you a check, and we'll be cutting you a few checks for usage.
That's okay. I'm lucky. I get to go before Joe.
I'm gonna mess this whole thing up.
Oh Lord!
That's your pattern break, Reed.
Hey, you sound like a character I was just performing before I came on here.
That's the best Dan Reed I've heard so far.
Did you say best Dan Reed? Or
I have
best
to
Dan
go
Reed?
after you, Joe, so screw it up.
Okay.
All right, Joe, you're up. Go for it.
When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti.
Thank you, Spock.
Did I screw it up?
No, it's not so much screwed up, but I could hear Leonard Nimoy in that performance. I really could. Maybe all the days of watching him on TV when I was a kid, you know, that one show he did.
Oh yeah.
I think where that really came out is when you said extraordinary skill so fast.
Ah.
Yeah, that was a little fast.
Changes, extraordinary skills.
I would just say do the first half of the script like you did the second half of the script. The second half was very solid and it had a nice nice little change to it, where the first was a little more, I don't want to say flat, but more monotone. And unless you meant to do that.
Yeah, it didn't seem very connected. I'm with you, John. That's what it was just something was there, and then as it went on, maybe it wasn't that bad. The second half, you just didn't seem connected when you started. So
yeah, I think the first half I was trying to figure out where to do the turn, and maybe my head wasn't in it. So yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Get your head in the game, Joe.
Figure it out.
When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti.
Nice.
Nicer.
Yes, I
That was
like that a
nice.
lot
Yes.
better. It was
Yes.
more
Yeah.
consistent, and it had feeling, it had emotion. It was
It was
What was it?
Infinity Bushido.
What was really nice in that second half when you got onto
Richard shed a tear.
Go ahead, John.
Oh, it's when you got to that the instantly feeling the exhilarating difference he make. I could really feel that you felt that exhilaration.
Yeah.
That was solid.
Ah, cool. Thank you. Okay.
I think you could have slowed down a little bit when it said, or the new G25 sedan.
Yeah, I was kind of splitting the difference. That entered my head, but it didn't come out my mouth, I guess. Yeah, I know what you mean, because I think they are kind of billboarding that as, we want you to drive this one. These other ones are great.
Because the word news in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
How about just that one line then?
Oh, okay. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes.
Yeah, that was great. That was
That is-
different from everybody else has done it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounded more like a real commercial.
Cool. I do those.
Is that the goal?
Are we supposed to sound like a commercial? I thought we were supposed to sound like people.
Oh. Whatever writes the check.
Whoever pays.
Whatever they pay for, yeah.
Sound like an accountant.
Okay.
nice job.
Devin.
Cool. Thank you. Devin?
Okay. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti.
Okay. What did everybody think of Devin's performance?
Pretty good. Overall.
Little quick at the beginning. Kind of
I
like
actually have to give
power.
props to Devin. I actually have to give props to Devin. She didn't try to over articulate everything this time. She didn't try to. It actually came out a little bit more natural than she usually does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really good natural read.
Over-articulation is natural for me, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you kept it under control. I would give the new G25 sedan something, though. You didn't give it much.
The more
Other than that,
excitement. Yeah.
All
Just
new.
just anything. Just
Yeah,
anything to make it different.
And at the risk of not highlighting things too much, it felt like you were almost downplaying the inspired and this is inspired performance. And and similar on the human feedback, like highlight the human a little more. So it's human feedback and not human feedback.
Yeah, the human's a key word.
But
Can you
overall,
say-
not bad.
Devin, can you say they don't have a pulse line? Can you say the computers?
Oh.
can't-
But computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I just caught just a regionalism on the pronunciation of pulse.
Yeah, I caught that too. Pull,
Pulse.
as in
Pulse.
pull, as in instead of pulse.
Pulse.
Pulse instead of
Pulse? What?
Pulse, not in pulse instead of pulse.
Pulse.
I didn't know that word had regionalisms.
Say it again.
I didn't know Floridians had
Pulse?
regionalisms.
Pulse instead of
Well, my family's not from Florida. It's probably Midwestern.
Wait, why is it a pulse? It's pulse.
It's pools.
Oh,
What's
Oh, it is a
Like your
regionalism.
pulse?
Not like pull. Not
Semantics
like
of the
pull.
world.
Not pulse.
Not like P-U-L-L, but like P-A-H.
Pulse.
Pulse. Pulse.
Pulse?
Yeah,
Pulse?
Not
Pulse.
pulse. Yeah. 'Cause
Really?
That's very
Yeah.
regional. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very regional. Yeah.
All right, I'll take your word for it, but okay. Pulse. Sounds weird, but all right.
Dan agrees with you, I see.
Actually, see, that the way you said that kind of reminds me of okay, my kids.
Pulse.
Yeah, their accents influenced mostly by their mom, who is from Michigan, and she says it like that.
That's where my family's from.
Okay, so it's Michigan.
I'm from
That's where
Detroit.
my
And I don't
family's
say it
from.
like that.
I thought I caught that. That's what I was thinking I was catching because
You got a little Wisconsin in you there. You just do with the pulse and stuff.
yeah, I'll have a
Not
conversation
pulse.
with my son, and
It's
he'll say
pulse.
something like that, or he'll the way he pronounces bowl.
They don't have a pulse. What? They don't have a pulse. That doesn't feel right.
A pulse. They
Pulse.
don't have a pulse, eh?
They don't have a pulse.
Okay, wait, this somewhere else.
Pulse?
You could go Canadian with that.
Yeah,
Pulse.
yeah, you can.
Pulse.
You can
Yeah.
really go Canadian. With
They
that.
don't have a pulse, you know, which is why Infinity has a master driver.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
then, do you want to trade again there, don't you know?
Are we ready then, or do we have more?
Yeah, go ahead and try it again.
All right. Here we go. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. OneDrive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity.
That's good. You added some sparkle without overacting.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. She added a little bit of flair to it without it being over the top. I thought it sounded more human. I like that.
Yep.
You gave it a pulse.
Yeah, throw a music bed underneath it. Put some video over it. We got it. It's good.
All right, thank you. I still think it should be Pulse, but
I do
okay.
too.
We'll go with Pulse.
They keep on saying
Thank you.
Hey,
They're saying it wrong, huh?
When I first started out in this, I got nailed over how I would say W's because I would basically go Bush with it. W.
Yeah, W.
And I'm doing a station ID for WVLR, and you're hearing we here at WVLR.
W.
It's like, oh man, my very first television thing, and it came out with that messed up W, and I had to hear it for months.
Pulse, 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 pulse.
You got it.
Pulse, pulse, pulse. All right.
I think everybody in here has a pulse.
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 All right, Robert, you're up.
Okay, I had one thought before I started. All of the readers gave this a reading with deference, almost reverence. And when I see this script, I almost see, if it were a TV commercial, I almost see the cars going past the screen really, really fast. And so I'm thinking that maybe the pace could be picked up just a little bit. I'm going to see, no? You're shaking your head, no?
I mean, you got to look at the way that these car commercials work for these particular brands, and especially with this trying to evoke the idea of emotion and of
inspiration.
inspiration.
This is
Yeah, I really think picking up the pace on that is gonna completely pull you out of that particular theme that they seem to be going for, particularly when it
Okay.
comes to the Infiniti brand itself. I mean, have you ever seen commercials for Infiniti? They're usually trying to broach in on that sort of like luxury, high-end performance feel.
Ah, yes,
So
yes, yes.
Yeah.
that's the idea
Yep.
behind it. So
The
they're not
Yeah.
gonna
Humvees, the Lexus.
yeah, it's not necessarily going to be like I don't know, say Ford, which definitely makes more of their money off of um, consumer brand vehicles. You know, stuff that can be more
Right.
widely accessed. So it's a little bit less refined in many cases. Sometimes they go with a more refined stuff for depending on which vehicle they're selling. But this in particular is all about um, Infiniti's devotion to performance, how it feels to drive the car. So that's a
Right. So
focus you really have to maintain specifically with this script.
okay, so we're not going for reverence, we're going for refinement.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, let me give it a shot. I was going to split the difference, but I think you're absolutely right. When I hear it, it makes a lot of sense.
When
So
you said
let's
when you said that, Robert, I got the feel of a Pennzoil commercial or something immediately when you said there's cars going by fast in the background, stuff like that. Anyway, just
okay.
throw that out.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Russ. Let's see. Let's give this a go and see how it works. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. Oh, you know what? I have to stop right here. I have an Alexa, and the name of the Alexa is COMPUTER. Let me unplug this baby. Hold on a second. I'm sorry.
Got the same thing going on with our Alexa devices in this house.
You know what? I've got 6 of them in a small house, and they're spying on me. They're spying on me. So
Yes,
I apologize to everybody, but let me start again. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti.
All right, let's open it up. What did everybody think?
It seemed like a lot of pauses in there, especially like
Okay.
between new and G25. There was a huge pause there.
Okay.
Felt a bit reedy as well. I think
Yeah.
that's probably why.
Yeah, the pauses made it sound that way, I think.
I can't
Okay.
quite put my finger on it, but it came across a little more blue collar and a little less refined to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Not very
Maybe that's
relaxed.
because I'm from Brooklyn. I got that
Oh,
accent.
that may be.
Uh-oh.
I didn't get reedy as
Yeah, it makes a little bit of
much
difference
as,
right there.
Yep.
Right
I didn't
there.
get reedy
Right
as much as matter of fact. It was, I
there.
think it was
Oh,
a bit too matter of fact. There wasn't
Yeah.
enough
Mhm.
importance on
Yep.
things.
That's what it is.
That might have been. That might be what I was thinking.
ooh. It's a good thing I have thick skin.
Yeah.
You're too conversational, Robert. You're too conversational.
Well,
Yeah.
let's try not to do that then. Let's stop that
Usually
stuff.
it's a good thing.
Usually it is.
Usually,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, now I'm going to have to attack this with a whole different frame of mind and get a little bit less conversational and a little bit more refined
Or soft, maybe.
and a little less reedy and a little less sucky. Okay. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti.
Okay, how about there? Did he improve it?
It felt like the same read to me. Just,
Oh.
just
Yeah.
reedy. I don't know. You've got to give it some softness, some flow, and it's different than other
Yeah,
computer reads.
I agree with the flow thing. It sounded a little on the choppy side for me.
Tilted.
Okay.
Sorry for not really
Yeah.
knowing what other word to use. So try to romanticize it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Read it like you're reading it to your wife on a romantic evening. I know that's a bit of a stretch, but you know,
This,
you
yeah,
wouldn't be
this was
reading about a
really,
car to your wife on a romantic evening, but you know what I'm saying.
yeah,
Maybe could
okay.
you just do that first line and just try to do what we're saying, and then we'll see if you get it. And then
Okay. Okay. Good advice. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change.
It was better,
Yeah, I agree it was better.
That was better.
but it's still not
Okay.
quite there. Like, when machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. We'll consider a change.
Add
Just a
some
little more
Ricardo
into it.
Montalban to it.
Hey, when machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Come on. Hey. All right. Let me. Wow. So I've been listening and reading along, but it seems like I'm still way off the mark. But let me see if I
You're
can.
not way off. You're not way off the mark. It's just
We're
a
picky.
slight-
That's all.
like, a slight change.
Well, you need
A
to be.
slight change in the way you're presenting the car.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels like you're just throwing facts at us. Here's a fact. Here's a fact. Here's a fact. You know.
Okay.
Give it the feel like you're saying the whole thing in one breath. I mean, don't try saying it in one breath, but give it that feel.
Okay.
Yeah. Or put yourself in that scene we talked about earlier. You know, you're in the dealership, and you know, a bunch of rich people around, and you're giving them the soft sell.
Okay. Well, let me start out this way. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in the G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti.
It seems like those last lines you're doing okay on.
Started strong and he ended strong in my
It's
mind.
the speed.
Yeah.
He's picking up too much.
Yeah.
You're moving a bit too quickly through the script. It's not that your emotional assignments on the areas are wrong. They just don't have a whole lot of time to develop. So I think if you just give yourself an even keel, slower pace through the whole thing, because after that beginning portion, after the first 3 sentences, you then start really picking up and you move faster and faster and faster, and
Too
that
fast.
kills the emotion of it. So yeah, if you're try to, I know it's a little bit difficult to pay attention to the pacing of your reads at times, but I think this is really going to require that. If you can pay closer attention to that pacing and slow it down a bit more, I think you'll be right on the money. I think that's really the main thing.
Okay, well, I appreciate that feedback. Let's try it this way. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti.
See, and that sounded like you were a little bit more connected with what was going on. You let everything breathe a little bit more, and that was, at least in my opinion, your best read so far. What did everybody else think?
Yeah, I liked it.
I
Much
agree.
better.
Yeah, that was good.
I like that performance. It was still just a hair fast. I mean,
Uh-huh.
but you were definitely connected to the copy. The tone was good.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, I can never remember that word. Punches. Why I always call it punching.
The emphases.
The emphases.
Yeah, I get it.
It was in my head. It was a little fast, but it was a good read.
Yeah.
In my head, it was. Go ahead, Patrick.
I really like the way you delivered. You'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference. Different than any of the rest of us read it.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay. So is that my last read, or do you want me to attack it again?
No, I think that was it.
You're good.
Because we're cutting it close on time. We still have a couple readers to go.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate the feedback.
Sorry, Leonard.
That's fine.
Didn't mean to cut you off, but we got to get moving. All right, Xavier, you're up.
Can I be heard?
Yeah, we can hear you. You're a little quiet right now, though.
All right, I'm on my cell phone, and I need instructions on how to use my phone. How can I bring this coffee up on my phone?
Oh.
Okay, is it Android or iPhone?
It's an Android.
Okay, on the bottom of your screen there is a chat button. Like if you tap your screen, it shows up with the chat button on the bottom, or participants, something like that. Do you see the button? Okay, click that, and then there's a chat button in the top left. I just did this last week. There's a chat button in the top left, and then I just posted the script in there for you. And just click the link to the script, and it should open in your Google Drive account.
All right, so let me just find it, and could you skip me, and I'll go after the next person.
Did Rob, did you get your microphone working?
Oh, I heard a little something.
Chats.
Rob, are you there?
No.
It looks like you're still having some issues. All right.
I think I got it.
Oh,
I think
Xavier
I
got
found
it? Okay.
All right. Okay, here we go. I guess, okay, can you hear me? Okay, now, because I got to, yeah, oh, here we go. Take one.
Yeah.
When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity.
All right. Something that I noticed is you hit sedan twice in the list. So on a G sedan and the new G25 sedan, it sounded a little repetitive. So put a little bit more emphasis on G25, because that's the differentiating mark between the two of those. Otherwise, it just sounds. Otherwise, people are mostly just going to pay attention to sedan. Anybody else? Does anybody else have any feedback for Xavier?
Something that I
Is
heard.
it a little fast?
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, a little bit. But
it felt a hair quick. Yeah.
There was something that I was hearing that I'm not sure if it was maybe his phone or his performance. You know that sound like
little clickiness.
They don't have a pulse. Like it sounded like the voice was altered on purpose, but it was just a little too much, like forced. But that might have been the phone.
It may have been network related.
Well, let him do it again, and if it happens again, then you know it was him.
What is it you're describing? I'm sorry.
It's like next time on JoJo, but it wasn't that pronounced, but it was. I was hearing it in my head. Maybe it was in my head. Maybe it was from the phone. Maybe it was from your performance. I don't know. We'll find out in a minute. Go ahead and give it a good read.
Dan drinks, so.
Yeah, that too.
I'm going to try the first line, and you tell me if you. Well,
actually, no. I'm hearing it the way you're talking, so it may just be in your it may just be your voice.
It's a hair announcery.
Yeah.
Okay, got that. Okay, here we go. Take two. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infinity has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infinity.
Okay, what did everybody think of that?
There was an odd pause after Infinity, and before has a master driver. It's pretty good overall. I mean, it's really good. You got a good voice, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's
Great voice. Maybe a little fast at the beginning.
Yeah, at the beginning. Yep. That's it. Yeah, that too. Like when computers can never, what is it? Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. No, it's the second sentence. You're going so fast on it. I don't know if you're trying to or.
I don't want to give every phrase equal pacing.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that might be what you were trying to do. Yeah.
I wasn't trying to go fast. I mean, I don't know if this is the alcohol talking but I'm.
Oh, you're drinking too? Cheers.
Well, I was referring to Dan, but in terms of the, natural conversational, not so fast that it becomes unintelligible, but not so metered that it sounds like someone's reading off of a piece of paper.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But that for some reason speeding it up right there just sounded a little odd to me.
Okay, duly noted.
The slash breaths are a little distracting to me. Granted, they can be edited out, but they're ending up a little close to the speech.
The what?
Slash breaths. The quick.
You're doing the OneDrive in the G sedan coupe convertible or the new G25 sedan, and you'll. So it's just something to work on, making your breathing a little more natural and a slight pause before and after the breath if you've got to take a breath in the middle so the engineer can clean it out.
The thing is like a lot of these are really sort of like small and nitpicky. Your performances are generally really good.
Yep.
I really feel that you need to pull off a touch on the new G25 sedan because we're not selling the new G25 sedan in this commercial. We're selling the emotional performance behind buying a car. But all in all, I think in general you've really hit a lot of what we've discussed previously quite well. So if we do need to move on a little bit for time, so we can at least get Nathan in to read and see if Rob might be able to get in with us. But if we were going to go for another read, I would say allow yourself to slow it down a little bit, focus more on the story than on your tone, and pull off of the new G25 just a little bit more. Just emphasize G25 to separate it from the first one. Those would be my little nitpicky things. But like I said, all in all, it's generally really solid. Like your reads are really quite good.
Yep.
I had one, possibly slightly bigger thing. I wasn't really catching so much a feel of luxury and refinement there. It was sounding almost more like a, I don't know, motivational speaker or something.
Okay.
Okay. So another read, or are we moving on?
For time's sake, we got to move on.
Okay.
Yeah, Leonard took up all the time at the beginning. I'm blaming it on him.
We'll blame it on Leonard. All right. Nathan, you are up.
Okay. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti.
All right. What did everybody think?
Pull it back a little bit.
Was not a voice under for sure. It was definitely a voice over hitting us in the head with all the keywords.
But
yeah, you're telegraphing a lot of words. Yeah.
I don't know if I've said this before, but it feels like going less up and down with your voice would help.
Okay. So flatten it out a little bit more.
Yeah, flatten it out a bit.
Yeah. And find the target person you're talking to.
I just came away from performing like this. When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of infinity.
Of infinity.
I'd say split the diff.
Is that what I sound like when you tell me that I'm not connected to the copy?
It's pretty close. So some of the things that I noticed is you're tying, but computers can't feel, they don't have a pulse together. It's almost like the way that you're describing it is you're adding in a because, but computers can't feel because they don't have a pulse. That's not what it's doing. This is like they're trying to come up with a second example of something else that separates humans from computers. So it's like, I can't trust this person. They stole from so-and-so last week. They lie all the time. It's two different examples. Not they stole from so-and-so, from so-and-so because they lie all the time. That's kind of the way that you were delivering it. These are two separate ideas to differentiate humans from computers. So, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse. These are two separate examples. And once again, the same thing that we've heard before in that list. You hit sedan twice, and it muddles out the difference of why you're even saying new. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or a new G25 sedan. You see, it messes up that new part. So yeah, make sure to put the emphasis on G25 sedan.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably the main things. Does anybody else get anything else?
I think slow down just a little. It seemed a little rushed.
Okay.
All right. Give it a go.
But it was better. You're going towards the target now, I think.
When machines start driving machines, we'll consider a change. Computers can measure performance, but computers can't feel. They don't have a pulse, which is why Infiniti has a master driver, recognized by the Ministry of Japan for his extraordinary skill. His sole job is to provide engineers with human feedback, emotional feedback. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or the new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of infinity.
I would make one thing real quick. Do the list line, the whole line.
Okay.
Put a smile on your face. Get a little bit more excited about it, and then go finish it out, going back to your original read style.
Okay. One drive in a G sedan, coupe, convertible, or a new G25 sedan, and you'll instantly feel the exhilarating difference he makes. This is inspired performance. This is the way of infinity.
I think the G25 sedan was a little flat. It needs to be differentiated, but that's very picky, I think.
Well, again, the reason why I asked him to do it that way is because this commercial is not selling that vehicle. So it seems like a ham-fisted sort of, hey, come on, go buy that one. That one's great. It's more of like, we've developed something new with this same philosophy in mind. Like this commercial is selling the philosophy behind the design, not necessarily that particular vehicle. And when you do give that something extra, it moves into salesy.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yep.
So that's just the one thing that we want to avoid. But I think all in all, you really got quite close that time. Did anybody else have any other feedback for Nathan?
The infinity at the end, it's like, I know what you're trying to do, but I don't think, and it might be appropriate for a different brand, but I think they want a smooth infinity at the end.
Okay.
You just kind of you spit it back at us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I billboarded a little too much there on that. Okay. This is just the way of infinity.
There we go.
Yep, that's better.
All right. Now, Rob, did you happen to? Are you still with us here?
Yeah, he's having trouble with his
no
mic.
luck.
Yeah.
All righty then. Well, I think that was. I think that's everybody, right? Yeah, that's everybody. All right. I think we all had a fair shake. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this script. I think it was fun to go ahead and go back and revisit something that we've done way in the past and see the differences between the two. If you like what you see here, make sure to join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below so you can be notified whenever we upload new videos. And we'll see y'all next week. See ya. Join us every Monday for free script practice. You can also find the Mic Check on Facebook and Twitter. If you liked what you saw, then subscribe for more.